Rubus,
Yeah.
are you ready to address the allegations?
Oh, I'm born ready. Let's get into them.
It's a Victory Monday here on the PHNX Sun Devils show. Guys, we're coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always by the Jedi himself, Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. We've also got the man behind the Mac. That is Captain Redbeard, also known as Kyle. By friends and family. Of course, guys, do us a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. The same number of stars that Arizona State has wins through 6 games this season. We're going to talk all about it. We're going to hear from Kenny Dillingham himself, his weekly press conference today. Got a lot to get into. We're going to talk about the disrespect going on with the AP Top 25. But Erik, some big news. You made waves this morning on PHNX Sports.
Yeah, man. I just want to take a moment and thank everybody. Everybody's been super kind. So officially starting today, I am moving roles in PHNX. I've been a producer for about a year now. It's almost a year to the day that on Friday was my 1-year work anniversary.
Love that.
Your birthday. I had to steal your thunder a little bit on that one. But it's been a year as a producer. My main job here when I got hired was to produce PHNX Suns. That's technically all that I'm here employed to do. But I stepped in on Sun Devils because somebody was on a bus. Forget who.
Somebody was on a bus.
And it was such a good time. Obviously, I love ASU. I love Totri. And the show was awesome. Eventually, this became something that I did in my free time every single day. And eventually with the goal being, and it has always been since, I was in school, I want to be a full-time on-air host covering something.
Yeah.
Right. And now I'm lucky enough to cover things that I really love, as in I'm now going to be a full-time host on Sun Devils. This is my job now. This is not just the side. And I'm also going to be a full-time host on the PHNX Suns show as well, which I love ASU, but basketball and the Suns have been my thing since birth. So pretty cool moment, pretty exciting. The first PHNX Suns show is going to be at 3 with me on it. Still a little bit of a transition period as we find another producer to replace me. However, that's what's going on.
Welcome to the full-time host role, buddy.
It's exciting stuff. And I got to thank producers like Kyle and Kevin, obviously Shane and Damon. Producing for this company is a fun job. It is also the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. It is nonstop, so much work. Kyle's literally doing a million things behind the scenes right now that nobody sees.
He always will.
It's a really tough job. And I think that everybody who's producing deserves so much love. And I'm excited to get going. I'm excited to be able to focus on this show and on the Sun show, and hopefully take both of these to the next level.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. Look, as I'm scrolling through Twitter, even right here in the Explore and the trending, new hosts join PHNX Suns.
Are you serious?
Is one of the trending Explore topics
Can you
here.
Screenshot that and send that to me?
Yeah, I can screen.
Because so I'm Mr. Let's not talk about this anymore because let's just talk about ASU football. I had a really cool moment though. Somebody, Suns Geek on Twitter, looked up Phoenix Suns, and my announcement tweet came up next to the Suns Twitter account as the Google result, and that 10-year-old me is freaking out.
You lost it a bit.
Yeah, freaking out. But yeah, I'm excited, and what makes this even sweeter is that Kenny Dillingham and your Arizona State Sun Devils are damn good. At football, and we need to address it.
Yeah.
The real allegations is the AP Top 25 doesn't know ball.
AP Top 25 came out Sunday morning, and your Arizona State Sun Devils were left off the poll. They did receive 39 votes. That is the third most among schools still receiving votes that weren't in the poll. Vanderbilt had 68. Nebraska had 62. Arizona State with more votes than Oklahoma, Washington State, Iowa, Tech, Syracuse, Arkansas, Utah, Louisville, Southern Cal, Liberty, and UNLV. The teams on the back end of that AP Top 25, Pitt, it was undefeated. They got a big win over the weekend. I believe they played Cal, so you can't necessarily bump them out. SMU's in there at 5-1. Illinois is in there at 5-1. Army got in. They're 6-0. Michigan at 4-2, and then Navy at 5-0. We got 2 armed forces schools in the AP Top 25.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, Navy and Army.
Where were you when Army and Navy were in the AP Top 25?
I'm just like, and Will in the chat, AP poll is a joke.
Okay, so I'm massive like left brain, right brain on the situation.
Okay, because I'm seeing red today.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I do. And I remember our diehards have called me out on this. I said we riot in the streets if ASU's not in the AP Top 25.
Yeah.
So let me go out.
I had my pitchfork ready to rock. Erik was nowhere to be found.
No. Listen.
I'm listening.
This school unequivocally deserves to be ranked. Absolutely. There's no question in my mind. With the way that they've played football, the wins that they have gotten, beating Utah, doing it in that fashion, this team absolutely, without a doubt, deserves to be ranked. And it's a sham the fact that they're not.
Yeah.
There's also this other part of me, like, it's not like, oh, just getting happy on the farm, right? But, guys, ASU is a top 30, a top 28 team in this country, according to these AP Top 25 voters.
Correct.
Right? If they did the AP Top 30, if it was always just the AP Top 30, we wouldn't care. Like, we would not care, right?
So you don't care.
So I do care. They should be ranked. It sucks that they're not. They absolutely should. They got snubbed. That in itself is separate, and that is true. But then there is this other side of me that's like, guys, we're 5-1, and we're the 28th best team in the nation. We went from getting no votes to 28th. And we went from being picked last in the Big 12. We went from being hated on, being told that nothing was going on here. And now we're at the point where there are lots of people saying we're snubbed for the AP Top 25. And if they beat Kansas, Cincinnati.
Already beat Kansas.
Yeah, they did. They beat a lot of people this year. If they beat Cincinnati and then they don't get in, I will flood the streets. I will gather an army of PHNX Sun Devils viewers, and we will find the AP Top 25 headquarters. Okay? But for right now, I'm mad, I'm disappointed, but there's like this calmness underneath it that's like, guys, we're 5-1.
Yeah.
That in itself is a win.
It's not good enough, though.
No, you can go now. You can go. Maybe I'm just in a good mood today.
I was very upset. I was very upset when I saw that Arizona State not only was not in the AP Top 25, but that there were even 2 other teams in Vanderbilt and Nebraska that had more votes than Arizona State to get into the AP Top 25. So even assuming if Pitt and one of those other schools ended up losing, Arizona State still might not have actually snuck in to the top 25. Your Arizona State Sun Devils are 5-1. That's great. That's not something that, a ton of people expected at this point. And if you did expect that, my goodness, go buy a lottery ticket because you know things, important things going on in Tempe. But there are 3 teams that did make the AP Top 25 above Arizona State that, by my estimation, should not have gotten more votes than Arizona State. Your Michigan Wolverines, your reigning national champions in the Big Ten, they sit at 4-2. They've beaten Fresno State. They've beaten Arkansas State. They beat Minnesota, and they snuck by USC by 3 points. USC at that time was the number 11 team in the nation. That is really their only win. Their worst loss came against Texas. They lost 31-12, and they were on a bye week last week after losing to Washington, another bad team, 27-17. Michigan does not belong in the AP Top 25. You know why Michigan is getting votes? Because they're Michigan. Michigan's a blue blood program as it relates to football. You can thank Harbaugh for all of that. This is not a very good Michigan team. If you're an Arizona State fan, you don't have to worry about the Wolverines being in the AP Top 25 poll for long. They've got ranked Illinois, whichever way that game goes, it'll benefit Arizona State if the Sun Devils win because Illinois is number 22. Then they've got Michigan State. That should be a dub. Then they've got number 2 Oregon and then number 16 Indiana. They get a bye week playing Northwestern, and then they close up the season on the road against number 4 Ohio State. Michigan won't be in the AP Top 25 poll for long. So let's talk about the armed forces for a second, okay?
Careful.
Army. Army
Football.
does not belong in the AP Top 25. They are 6-0. Congratulations. Who have you played? Do you know? Do you know by chance who Army has played this season?
Their last game, they beat UAB 44-10.
Yeah. Do you know the game before that?
No.
Tulsa, 49-7. The game before that, Temple, 42-14. The game
Please tell
before
me they
that,
played Troy.
The game before that, Rice, 37-14. Game before that, FAU. The game before that, Leahy. Do you
Hey,
know
don't
where
sleep on Leahy.
any of those schools are?
You mean Leahy or
outside of the
Lehigh?
ones that aren't named by the city? Who cares?
No, I don't.
You'll never see them again.
You are right. I'm not saying you're
I
wrong.
know I'm right. Army doesn't belong in the AP Top 25. I don't care if they're undefeated. They played nobody. Let's travel to the sea where the Navy midshipmen are. They're 5-0. Who have they played? Do you know?
I'm looking it up right now, brother.
Air Force, UAB, Memphis, Temple, Bucknell. Nobody. They have played nobody. And you're putting them in the AP Top 25 over an Arizona State team right now that has one loss on the season to Texas Tech, who also, to all the Red Raider fans that are going to be in the comments, you guys belong in the AP Top 25 too.
Yep.
We'll go hand in hand. We'll skip there with you and kick out the midshipmen and Army because they don't belong anywhere near this poll. They have played absolutely nobody. Arizona State, 5-1, tied for second in the Big 12 right now with Kansas State ranked, Texas Tech, who should be ranked, Iowa State ranked, and BYU ranked. One loss. So who has Arizona State beat? Wyoming. I get Wyoming, not good. They suck. Arizona State beat them by 41 points to start the season. Absolutely tore that program to bits.
And they were only like, what, a touchdown favorite in that game?
Yeah. And then Mississippi State, an SEC team, who, if you go back this past week, they were going back and forth with Georgia for a little bit. I'm not saying Mississippi State's good. They're an SEC program. Arizona State handled them for 3.5 quarters. That was a dub. Texas State, short week, on the road. Texas State's Super Bowl. Texas State's a good football team. Preseason, everybody was talking about Texas State potentially being a college football playoff team for the non-power four. You beat them. You beat that game. You won. The reigning Sun Belt Player of the Year, Jordan McLeod. Really good running back. So then you go, you play Tech. You lose by 8 points. Texas Tech, one of the best aerial attacks in this conference.
On the road.
On the road.
In a place that not many teams win.
No, you lost that game. You lost. That's fine.
Good
That's
team.
that's your one loss. Okay? Then you go beat Kansas at home. 35-31. You find a way to win that game. Guess what? You heard of Kansas football before? More so than Rice and Temple and UAB?
Kansas's record's not great, but if you had Kansas play all the teams that Army has played this year,
They win.
they're undefeated. Kansas is undefeated if they play Army or Navy schedule this year.
And if that's not enough, then what? Then you go back home. Cam Rising returns for the first time, and
He played?
he played that game.
You
Not
sure?
well. He didn't play well. Okay, and everyone wants to talk about, yes, Cam Rising this, Cam Rising that. Arizona State's defense had to be on the field for that, by the way. They had to play well. Just going to put that out there. At the time, Utah was number 16 in the country. Number 16 in the country. Arizona State won that game, held Utah under 20 points. Last year, Arizona State lost to Utah 55-3.
Yep.
Arizona State doesn't belong in the AP Top 25. The one Tech loss hurts them that bad. Another team also receiving votes that should be in over Army and Navy. I love our troops, but my goodness, you don't belong in the AP Top 25, dude. Same with Michigan. Like it's just not, that doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. I get they're undefeated, but at a certain point, strength of schedule has to actually mean something. If it means something at the top, right, where Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, Bama, Texas, all of these, Penn State, if that matters, then it matters at the bottom. And Army and Navy have played nobody. In Michigan, they've played two teams. They lost to Texas, and they barely beat USC. And then you lose to Washington.
I share all of your feelings. You are right.
I know I'm right. Give me a vote, dude.
You do deserve a vote. You do. You are a college football freak. But here's the thing. Now you're in an opportunity, though, with this ASU team. Here's Mr. Spin Zone. Okay? Mr. Spin Zone's in town. I like that one. You can use that one.
Mr. Spin Zone?
Mr. Spin
I don't know
Zone's
if I
in
like
town.
that one.
I hate you.
I called you the Jedi.
You
to
call
open
me
the show.
dog. Okay, so you did call me Jedi.
Jeez, you want me to go back to Chicken Little?
No.
Okay.
I don't. Here's Mr. Spin Zone here, okay? This could actually work out in ASU's favor. Because now somehow you find yourself on a season where some people said you would win no games. Some people said your ceiling was 3 wins. Most people picked you last in the Big 12 and did it confidently. You're 5-1. You're on the brink of being ranked, and yet you still are able to have a chip on your shoulder. You are still able to wake up and say, that's not good enough. That is not something that we like. Oh, we're not in the AP Top 25? Well, guess what? Now we're going to go out and we're going to play Cincinnati with a fire lit under our ass, and we're going to take them down even though we play at 9 a.m. in Cincinnati, which is insane. I said this on the postgame show, right? This Cincinnati game is a game in years and regimes past I'd be freaking terrified about. It would be the classic ASU gets ranked in the top 25, goes on the road, plays a weird game against Cincinnati in the morning against a good Cincinnati team, not great, but good, and loses. And then all hope and momentum is lost, right? But Bees in the chat says, I like that they weren't ranked. Because here's the thing. Now they have more to fight for. Now they're going to show up on Saturday and they're going to go out there and they're going to play like people possessed. The same way that when they go and they play Utah, they're like, oh, well, we have to prove them right or prove everybody wrong. And Utah beat us 55-3 last year. When you're starting off the season and you need to play Wyoming well and you're only a touchdown favorites. And again, people are picking you to lose that game. People are picking you to be last in the Big 12. You need to go out and make a statement. If there's any staff, if there's any team that I trust to turn this into the most positive outcome and message possible, it is this team. It is Arizona State University, because that is the type of culture that's created. And I'm not saying that when they get a number next to their name, not if, when they get a number next to their name, they're going to just sit down and relax and, oh, job's done, job's finished, who cares? But I do think there is something to not getting it. There is something to feeling like you deserve it and to have it dangled right in front of you and then you don't get it. And if you can take that and turn that and channel it into something positive, you're going to be better. You're going to be better. B says, rise to the occasion. Prove it. It's all on them now.
It's been on them.
And guess what? They're not even favored. They're not even favored to beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati's favored. Even more fuel to the fire. I know I make fun of people for making up chips on their shoulders and people didn't believe in us. This is a team that has not only proved everybody wrong, but there are still doubters. There are still people that don't believe. And now it's their time to go and take it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's frustrating. Champs04 in the chat. What's up, boys? Hope you're doing well. Congrats on the new gig. Cincinnati's run defense is terrible. We should be able to run all over them. I don't know much about their quarterback. Absolutely. We will get into Cincinnati, obviously.
Wish Emory Jones was still there.
All week long talking about that matchup. Let's see. Clint in the chat could have seen ASU at 22 through 25 ranked, I believe.
That's the right range for them. They shouldn't have been
the highest ranked. The highest spot that they were in the AP votes, I believe, was 18 or 19.
Yeah, I think that's a little high. I a little high as far as national perception goes. I think this team, if they beat Cincinnati, should be a top 20 team. Period.
Yeah, I don't know what more you'll want for them.
No, dude,
if they win and then you don't put them in. But look, we're just getting started. Trust me. I said I'm seeing red. We're not finished with this rant. We are going to get more into it on the other side of this break.
ASU has to have that drive to keep winning, to make the AP Top 25. And if you're looking for a place to get your drive on, go on over to Sanderson Ford. I can tell you all about the amenities, right? Their 65-acre facility with a museum there, with a diner there, with people who are going to take care of you. And that is important. I'm not saying it's not. But what's the most important thing about getting a car is getting the right one at the right price and being listened to and taken care of, not taken advantage of. And that is exactly what Sanderson Ford does. They are family owned and family operated. They are invested in the community. They are invested in charities, and they are here to take care of you. You can get a new 2024 F-150 with 3.9% APR financing for 60 months, plus $1,000 cash back. Or you can go all electric. Get the Mach-E 1.9 financing for 72 months. Listen, you can do everything. Get it all with no hassle. Offers OAC from Ford Credit expire 10/31 for your next vehicle purchase or lease. Choose the dealership that gives back and pays it forward. Also, help us celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with Dia de los Muertos inspired trunk or tree at Sanderson Ford on October 19th. See a dealership for details.
Look, your Arizona State Sun Devils are on the road for the foreseeable future. So if you are somewhere in the Midwest and you're looking to go see your Arizona State Sun Devils, well, you can still get great deals for tickets through Game Time. Guys, Game Time, they got a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. So whether you want to go see Arizona State, if you want to watch the Wildcats probably drop another game, well, you can do that getting tickets on Game Time as well. The Arizona Cardinals,
$70 for these, huh?
They play as well. $70 for some really great seats.
ASU Cincinnati.
Absolute deals all over the Game Time app, guys. Game Time Picks curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time! I love that we had Captain Redbeard in on that at the same time. That was absolutely phenomenal. Clint in the chat. Fact remains, Utah isn't a big win. It was a ranked win at the time, so it definitely counts.
You know, Utah, besides Cam Rising, still a very good team, right? They're not a great team. They're not nearly as good as we thought they were going to be, but
they were ranked 6th. They were the 16th best team in the country.
Yeah.
You kicked them out of the rankings. That's got to mean something. And if it doesn't, then the system is flawed, right? And we talked about the teams that got in over Arizona State, Michigan, Army, and Navy. The two teams that were still higher in votes, Vanderbilt and Nebraska. Vanderbilt, I know they had the massive win over Bama, and that was a great win. They also recently beat Kentucky. They lost to Georgia State at one point in the season.
Yeah,
Other
but
wins
Bama and Kentucky are big wins.
Kentucky's not a ranked team, and they won by 7.
Kentucky's still a good team, though. They're not great, but they're a good team. That's
you
a good
lose
win.
to Georgia State, you have 2 losses. Arizona State has 1.
Yeah, I'm not arguing for them to make it over. I think you could even say, hey, the Utah game isn't as impressive as maybe what you thought, right? I get it. I would say this Utah team is not as good as the 16th team in the nation. And Cam Rising did suck.
Neither
I understand
Nebraska,
that.
Dude. Nebraska doesn't belong in the voting either.
You're still 5-1. You still only lost to another team that should be ranked as well, right? And you've played really well. It's still an argument, even if the Utah win was super impressive, we're talking top 20, right? Still beating Utah in itself is impressive. It's a well-coached team coming off of a bye and a loss.
Yeah, they came off a bye, and Arizona State still beat them, dude.
Still beat them with one of the best coaches in college football, period.
One of the best coaches in college football history.
Exactly.
It's whatever. Look, can we scroll up to Kevin's comment real quick? Sup, guys? Can I get a shout-out? Huge from back when they had... Yeah, huge fan from back when they had Jake the Snake Plumber. Wonder Gem, the name. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you hopping in here, Kevin. Everybody do us a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. You already kind of teased a little bit, but I feel like going into this game on Saturday now against Cincinnati, and I tweeted it out, the message is pretty clear. Being, 28th, if that's what you want to call it, that this team, if they win on Saturday... You can't keep out a 6-1 team in this conference, in a major Power 4 conference, whose only loss has come to a Tech team that also deserves to be in. I mean, I think it obviously depends a little bit on how the game goes, how the back end of that top 25 plays. But the momentum that Arizona State is building right now this season is something that is uncharted territory for Arizona State fans over the last half decade. Mm-hmm. Everybody has started to fall in love with Cam Skattebo. He was named Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week for the 3rd time this season. Caleb McCullough, also, I believe, won Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week, 2 interceptions, which, funny enough, now puts him tied for 2nd in the Big 12 for interceptions.
That's so nuts.
It is nuts.
Shout out to Caleb, man. I'm sorry, not to go off the rails. I'm still thinking back to Friday. How crazy is it, and how much of a testament is it to Caleb and the culture around this team that happens? You lose your best defensive players in Clayton Smith and Keyshawn Elliott, and then your best defensive player of that game is the guy that replaces them.
Yeah, it's wild. That's absolutely wild to think about that. And again, there is, I think, not a target, but a chip, like you said earlier, a chip on this team's shoulder. that I know there were a lot of ASU fans post game when we were talking about ranking this team, and there was a lot of fans that said we don't want to be ranked. We don't want to be ranked going into this game because in the past we know what that means for Arizona
Trauma.
State.
Yeah.
And how many times have we already through this season, or not we, but the team, how many times has the team kind of curbed that narrative of, oh, the Sun Devils can't do this, or if the Sun Devils do this, well, then something bad is going to happen following it.
Let's go through week by week. You go and you play Wyoming, right? Expectations are you win, you're favored in that game, right? Oh, ASU should win. But you have this thought, and you know, we talk on air, we talk off air. This thought in the back of your head, like, man, Wyoming was actually a good team, right? What if they come out and they actually compete? What if ASU loses this game, right? Then you go and you play Mississippi State, SEC team. You're not really sure who Mississippi State is.
You've never beaten an SEC team.
You've never beaten an SEC team, and you're like, ooh, I don't know if they could do that. And they go and they win. Right? Then you're like, you know what would be so classic? ASU starting 2-0 and then going to play Texas State.
Trap game
on a Thursday, a team that a lot of people will underrate and say isn't that great, and a team that is playing in their Super Bowl against ASU. Wouldn't it be classic ASU to lose that game? They didn't. They actually come back from behind and win, which is not a classic ASU thing for them to do in that situation. Texas Tech kind of felt like one of those classic ASU games, right? Momentum's high. You're 3-0. You're on the road. You think that you could beat a good team in Texas Tech, but you think you're better than them. You shoot yourself in the foot and you lose that game. And then you think, is this where everything goes off on the rails? You lose, there's a bye week, all momentum is lost. What next? Well, then you go up against Kansas and you fall down early to Kansas, but then you fight back and you win that game. That's not the classic ASU thing to do. Then you get back on track and then you're playing number 16 Utah at home and you can take advantage of a bad quarterback and a team that is, they were better. They were ranked 16th in the nation. Utah was supposed to win that game.
Yeah.
And you go out there and now you win. So now you look at Cincinnati and you say if they're ranked or they're not ranked, this is the classic 9 a.m. East Coast game against a team that's better than people expect. Oh, classic.
Definitely trending up.
Classic ASU thing for them to blow. I don't feel like that right now. I get why others do, and I get that little voice in the back of your head. But if there's anything this season has proved, it's that this is an ASU team built around a mentality unlike any other, right? The next man up, the we're ready, the chip on your shoulder mentality. And they still haven't played their best football. I'd be more concerned if they were playing an unsustainable brand of football.
Yeah.
But the only player I feel like that couldn't really get any better from the first 6 games of the season is Cam Skattebo. I think everybody else could be better and should be better as the season goes on.
Yeah.
Including play calling. Offensively more so. I think Brian Ward's done fantastic. I think Arroyo for a majority of the time has done well. There's been a couple moments where it's like, but then he follows it up with a beautiful call. But like, I'm confident, man. I'm confident in this team.
Yeah. At this point, they've given you no reason not to.
No.
They've given you no inclination that this is an Arizona State team that follows in the footsteps of former Sun Devils, kind of tripping over their shoelaces when they finally start to have some momentum. This team is taking it on the chin in terms of not getting in the AP top 25, not getting ranked, not doing those types of things. And like you said, this was a team that was picked to finish dead last in the Big 12. And they are currently tied for second in this conference. They're one of 3 teams in the Big 12 with just one loss in conference play. And as it stands, or they're one of, 3 teams in this conference that are 5-1. A handful of teams only have one conference loss.
So out of all the teams that are 5-1, right, or are undefeated, who has the most impressive singular win? BYU over Kansas State.
BYU 6-0.
Yeah, I think BYU over Kansas State. What's Iowa State's most impressive win so far this season?
I would say probably the way they beat Iowa.
So week 2, you beat number 21, then 21 Iowa.
Iowa's not ranked anymore.
So Iowa's not ranked anymore, right? Utah's not ranked anymore, so if we're going to play that game, we can play that game.
And don't get me wrong, I really like Iowa State, but you also look at their schedule.
Yeah.
Right? Outside of Iowa, that was ranked at the time, they beat Houston, they beat Baylor, they beat West Virginia, Arkansas State, and North Dakota.
Bad. I mean, Iowa's an okay team. They're not bad. They're just not ranked. And West Virginia's an okay team. I mean, they're 3-3 overall in the season. They're not great.
And Iowa State's 9 in the nation.
Yeah, and I think Iowa State's really good. But I'm just saying, like, if you take the best singular individual win, I think it's clearly BYU beating Kansas State, right? Especially because that's Kansas State's only loss in the season.
They dominated Kansas
Texas Tech's best win, when you look at it,
Is Arizona State.
Is beating Arizona State. And then Kansas State's best win, what? Beating then-ranked Arizona, who sucks, or beating then-ranked Oklahoma State, who sucks, or beating Colorado by 3. Arizona State has the second most impressive win in the Big 12 this year. Right behind BYU beating Kansas State. Arizona State's win over Utah is the second most impressive win in the Big 12.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Out of at least the teams that are in consideration to be ranked, Arizona State has the singular most impressive win. And I get it. Cam Rising wasn't that great. Utah.
That doesn't mean anything. It's a team game. The team was ranked number 16, not Cam Rising. That team was number 16 in the country. Cam Rising didn't play a month of football. That team is good as a team. Arizona State held them under 20.
Yep.
They won that game. Utah didn't even really have a shot at the end because Scat put it away. Cam Skattebo, again, third time he's won Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week. He's got more broken tackles this season than anyone in the country, even Ashton Jeanty at Boise State. He's number 5 in the country in terms of rushing yards. 5 nationally. 2 in this conference. And what? They're good enough for 39 votes.
Though, dude, but like, are you surprised? I said this on the post-game show.
Watch the games.
No, but dude, okay, I'm not surprised. I'm
shocked.
Okay,
I thought that the voters had like at least an ounce in their head of just like, hey, I know that this game kicks off late. I know that Arizona State plays late games. I'm on the East Coast. I'm wherever. There's a time difference. Guess what? It's your job. Your job to stay up and watch those games or watch them the next morning. I don't care how you do it. Turn on the tape. Watch the game. You can't tell me there's 25 better teams than your Arizona State Sun Devils. You just can't. You can't.
I'm not surprised that this happened. Am I sad and disappointed? And do I think that it's not correct? Yes. Absolutely. I'm not surprised. I said this on the postgame show. This feels like one of those things where ASU is not going to get the respect that they deserve. Because what's been the theme this entire season, even in the preseason? People making up their opinions about Arizona State and Kenny Dillingham and Cam Skattebo and everybody on the team without actually knowing what the hell is going on here. Right? Nobody who spent any time around this team, watching this team, following this team, thought that they would be the worst team in the Big 12. Nobody who was actually familiar with Arizona State's game thought they would be the worst team in the Big 12 this year, right? And then when ASU gets off to a 3-0 start, when ASU gets off to a really good start, anybody who was actually watching the games knew that it wasn't fake, right? You could tell by the way that they were winning football games, it was replicable. But what's happening is national media, AP top 25 voters, even the Big 12 media from the beginning of the season who all discounted this team have already made up their minds and made up their opinions about all of this. So it takes an extra effort for you to completely change their minds. I'm not surprised they don't end up in the top 25. Even though they deserve it, not surprising they're not getting that respect. So what happens now is you go to Cincinnati, you beat the brakes off of them, and you say, guess what? I don't care what your bias is. I don't care if you already made up your opinion. I don't care. Here's the reality. Here's the truth. Here's 6-1. You can't deny us anymore. Because you can make excuses after the Utah game. People already are. But you go in and you beat Cincinnati on the road in an early game.
They'll find something else.
No, at that point, it is pure lunacy. Pure lunacy. But I'm not surprised.
They put in a Michigan team with 2 losses. It's some of it just, I try and rack my brain. I try and sit on the other side and understand the Big Ten bias, the SEC bias. It's there. It is alive and well. And people in the chat saying the Big 12 is as weak as predicted. Again, the Big 12 is the number 9 team in the nation in Iowa State. They've got BYU ranked 13 on the cusp of being a top 10 team. Kansas State, number 17. They're, a threat to beat just about every single week. And in reality, like if you look at this team, if they go in and they beat Cincinnati, then you're talking about a 6-1 team, and you need to start having some real conversations because after Cincinnati, Erik, you have a bye week. You have time to get healthy, and then you're on the road taking on an Oklahoma State team that's 3-3 on the season, hasn't beat a Big 12 team this season. Mm-hmm. Then you're back home playing UCF, a UCF team that is 3-3 overall, 1-2 in conference, has really started to fall flat the last few weeks of the season. Those are 3 very winnable games for Arizona State. If you win those games, we need to have real serious conversations about what this team is going to do the rest of the season, because then after those 3 games, then you're on the road against your toughest opponent outside of Utah, your toughest road game at Kansas State, and then you follow it up with a home game against BYU.
That BYU game.
But again, if you win the next 3, which they're all very winnable games, right? You're talking about an 8-1 team.
You're talking about top 15, borderline top 10 team in the country.
You're a top 15 team if you win the next 3 straight.
If you
should be. If you're not, then I don't know what else to do.
Cincinnati,
I don't know what else I can do.
No.
Like, as a man, let me know what I need to do. Like, I will hand deliver tape to y'all. I'll sit there and watch the games with you so you can give me the explanations. Heck, I'll sit there. I'll watch the Army, Navy, Michigan games with you, and you can tell me who's playing a better brand of football right now.
Yep.
I promise. I'll do it if that's what you want me to do. If that's what it takes to actually get people to understand what's going on in Tempe.
Dude.
It's not just Cam Skattebo. It's not just Kenny Dillingham doing awesome post-game interviews.
No.
It's a team game.
No, this is a good football team. Front to back, good football team. And they're only getting better. You know, Cincinnati is 61.7% favorites in the matchup predictor for Saturday.
ESPN don't know what they're talking about, bro.
If you beat Cincinnati, a game that apparently you're not supposed to win, according to betting lines.
According to everybody, you're not supposed to beat
predictors.
Cincinnati.
Then you go to Oklahoma State, which as of right now,
Stillwater's a tough place to play.
Oklahoma State's favored to win that game as of right now. Obviously, it's a little bit away. And then ASU takes on UCF. If you're undefeated through that, that's 2 good teams and a mid team in UCF. Oklahoma State's better than I think their record is right now, but we'll see.
I don't know if they are.
We'll see. We'll see by then. If you then beat Kansas State and or BYU, we're not just talking about top 10 team in the country.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Totri, we're talking about.
I know where you're going.
Totri.
Listen, we got a ways though. We got a ways though, Rubus.
The thing is,
we got a ways.
Not to get ahead of myself.
Well, we are getting far ahead.
But this is what they have to play for this weekend.
Yeah, we're in a time machine.
What they have to play for this weekend is to give themselves the opportunity. If you go 3-0 over the next 3 games, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, UCF,
which you're better than all of those teams.
You in a vacuum should win those games. It's football, so it's not that easy. If you win those 3 games, as we see Derek with his ASU shirt on right now, there we go.
Welcome, buddy.
Forks up.
I didn't see you sporting all the ASU last year.
Bandwagon.
Just saying. Just saying.
Bandwagon.
Just saying, man.
It's okay.
Carry on
Everybody's
with your
allowed to be on the
thoughts.
bandwagon.
Do you see how you act? I can't be on the bandwagon now?
No, you can't.
You
I
want to
said
be
it's okay.
praised, but now I can't be on the bandwagon?
okay.
You don't want more fans?
Hey, Captain Redbeard, real quick for Derek, what's the title of this thumbnail that we had today?
Cam Skattebo, Arizona State snubbed. Oh, keep that energy.
Keep that energy, boss.
My bad.
Keep that energy from last year. We're on this side of the line. You're on that side of the line. And that goes the same way.
Okay.
If you don't like me at my worst, you can't have me at my best, baby. That goes for college football. If you were one of the people writing off this program, writing off Kenny Dillingham and company, I don't need you in maroon and gold. They don't want you in maroon and gold. Keep that same energy, man.
Okay. This is what you have to play for this weekend. Okay. I'm not saying the team should focus on this, but this is what's on the line. If you beat Cincinnati, obviously you're 6-1. You beat a team you're not supposed to beat, according to everybody's predictions.
Yeah.
You're in the AP top 25. Then you fight to keep that ranking. You play 2 teams you should be better than. Oklahoma State on the road, tough game at home versus UCF. You should win that game. You win those 3 games. You are 8-1 on the season, facing the 2 other teams who are also in contention to win the Big 12.
Some stuff right now.
You're then facing Kansas State and BYU. You go 1-1 or 2-0 over those games. You are absolutely in contention to win the Big 12 and to make the college football playoffs.
He said the thing.
That's the path. Okay? That's what's on the line this weekend. Because a loss this weekend
puts that pretty much out of reach.
It's done, right? It's done. Because I don't know if I can confidently say that back-to-back weeks they're going to beat Kansas State and BYU.
That's our Pixar
really
movie
tough.
you were talking about.
That's
here.
really tough.
That's our Pixar movie.
Yeah. But that's the thing. These 3 games are so important because you want to have that type of pressure when you get to Kansas State and BYU. You want to have that type of pressure. That's what's on the line this weekend.
This team was picked to finish last in the conference, and we were talking about the college football playoff.
This is what's on the line every single week beyond this. That is what's on the line.
Yeah.
A chance at winning the Big 12.
Yeah.
A chance at giving yourself a shot in the final 3 weeks of the season to be the best team in this dang conference. To go literally from 0 to hero. From 16 to 1. From 3-9 to champions.
And then a 24-hour live stream.
Yeah, that would...
Oh boy, look, guys.
Dreaming, it's a really long shot. I'm just saying that's what with every
Dreaming is
game
free.
you go in. With every game you go in, that's the type of stuff that's on the line.
I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
Look at us,
I'm
man.
not predicting it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying the expectations are for them to run the
I'm
table or
predicting
anything
they
like
go
that.
8-1. At this point, I've seen enough that I need to see from this team in the other three. You know, assuming the important players stay healthy, knock on wood, this team should win the next 3 games.
Oh,
Like that's what it is. Kate in the chat, if ASU goes 10-2, I'll get hot damn tatted. I'll hear for
everybody
that.
giving tats,
I
man. Y'all
love
better
it.
watch yourself because we said a 24-hour live stream, and that's becoming
We're gonna have
more and more of a reality.
It's scary. It's scary.
It is a
as
little
we
scary.
get closer.
It's
Look.
exciting, but it's scary. But, you know, we've talked a lot about this game. We're great and all. I'm more interested to
think
hear
so.
from the great Kenny Dillingham for the first time since his post-game interview and, of course, that Utah game. And we are going to hear from Coach KD just on the other side of this break.
Guys, we live here.
What?
We live here in Studio K, presented by Circle K, and it makes it easy to live here because Circle K literally provides us with snacks and a bunch of other great stuff here at PHNX, and they're going to provide you guys with some awesome deals that's going to help you save money every single day. I'm talking about Inner Circle. It's Circle K's free membership program. It's super easy to download. You can do it here in the next 30 seconds if you really want to. Go to the App Store, download the app, enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled, and boom, just like that, you are enrolled. After that, all you got to do, pull up to the pump, type in your phone number, and boom, you're going to start getting those deals. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, and then every day after that, you guys can save 3 cents per gallon as well. Not to mention, there is plenty of other member-exclusive deals and discounts. Enjoy your member-exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle members like you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents. Sound good, Eric?
Sounds great.
Sounds great. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Oh, I'm rocking my Shady Rays as always. In fact, we are waiting on a new shipment of Shady Rays here at the office. Excited to get my hands on some fresh ones because Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. They've got different colors. They have different frames. They have polarized shades, crystal clear optics, and they also have some of the most insane protection in all of eyewear. If you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. There's also no risk when you wear because every pair, bars, is backed by a lost or broken replacement guarantee. I love wearing my Shady Rays, whether we're here on the podcast, because these podcast lights, they are real bright. Whether I'm driving, I got real sensitive eyes, man.
You do.
That's just something
You do.
about me. I got real
You're just a
sensitive
sensitive
eyes.
guy, man.
Yeah, I am. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays giving out their best deal of the season. Head to ShadyRays.com, use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 sensitive people. More like sensible.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Look, we've talked obviously a lot about the AP Top 25, about the results, about all that stuff and what you can kind of hope for as the road continues for your Arizona State Sun Devils. But it is time to hear from the probably most likable coach in all of college football.
Oh, no, man. Dabo Sweeney's up there.
Okay. And that's Kenny Dillingham. Look, Kenny was asked at his Monday press conference how he feels about being left off of the AP Top 25, and realistically, if it's something he talks with his players about.
Yeah, I really don't care. I mean, I truly don't care. I mean, the only thing that could possibly make me care is recruits may care. Other than that, I really don't care at all. I really don't even talk about I don't even talk about winning with our guys ever, or records ever. Never have, never will. Like, I don't go into a meeting, we're 5-1. This is now so much more difficult of a task trying to get to 6 in the bowl. We'll never talk about results. We always talk about the process of how to be successful. Repeat. And if you continue to do that, you're going to continue to have really fun moments. If you get lost in the moments, your fun moments are going to disappear and the bad moments are going to show up more. So let's just stay focused on us and stay focused on the process.
I believe him because I think he knows the fine line between motivation and distraction, because we asked him in at Big 12 Media Day, actually, if he shows his guys and tells his guys that they're being picked last in the Big 12. And he goes, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid it, right? Like, I'm going to talk to them about it because they're going to see it, right? But when it comes to like winning in the AP Top 25, I truly think that the most important thing for Kenny and all of them is not the recognition of it externally, but the recognition of what they're doing right internally. And that's playing the right way, and that's playing good football.
Yeah.
Right. So in the offseason, when everybody's hating on you, everybody's going to see that. But during the season, you say, stay focused, and we just have to go out there and we just have to win. That's it. Focus on playing our best football, because that's how you get there.
Yeah, you can't be focused on the results. And funny enough, Kenny had Steve Nash come in to the facilities this morning and talk to the players. And it was a conversation centered about the process and leadership, right? Like, how do you build success? And Nash said something along the lines of, it's boring. Being successful is being boring because you're doing the same things consistently every single day. And that doesn't just kind of go hand in hand with the players, but in reality, it goes hand in hand with the administration as well, right? Kenny, his post-game press conference, was talking about, hey, everybody that made money on Arizona State hitting their over win total through a couple games of the season, put that money back in the collective, right? If you enjoy these types of moments,
that was so fun.
That is something that's going to get really everybody to continue to buy in to this program. And Kenny was asked today just why he has so much faith, why he has so much faith in the administration, and why he has so much faith in another former Sun Devil, in Graham Rossini, to actually put the pieces of this Arizona State puzzle together.
Well, I just take people for their word to a fault, maybe. It's probably, I've been burned quite a few times just by, I naturally trust people just because I know if I say something to somebody, it's going to happen. So if somebody says something to me, I expect it to be the same thing. It's like I'm building a house right now, and they said it was going to be done in July. They told me today it's still not done until the middle of December. And like, that bothers me because it's like, if I tell you my word, I expect it to get done. And even though that's, I guess, how housing works, it's like still frustrating. But it's that same thing in this aspect is, if somebody tells you that they're going to do something, you give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to get it done, and you're going to trust them because they've done nothing to not do that in return. So I'm excited for the next few weeks, the next couple of weeks, to see, what the university, and see them, make moves and commit to the program. And, getting towards the end of the season, the staff's the most important part. The staff's what makes it go, the staff and the players. And we got to make sure we get those two things taken care of, the staff and the players, moving forward to create that consistency programs like Utah have.
Staff and the players, right? It's something that Arizona State hasn't been able to really have consistency over the last couple of seasons. And it's something that's hard to do in college football, point blank period, to retain assistants, to retain key players. But you've got to feel that this is different, just based off of what you've seen about, talking to the players and getting those, just seeing what those vibes are like. But I think he's right. I think, a lot of people give Kenny credit, and I think that is awesome, and Kenny deserves credit. But there are a lot of coaches on this staff that Arizona State wouldn't be in the position they're in right now without those guys. And you got to make sure as an administration that those guys are well taken care of and want to be Arizona State Sun Devils for the foreseeable future.
When we talked to Todd Graham, which if you missed that, we talked to Todd Graham a couple of weeks ago. We put that out during the bye week. He talked about Mike Norvell and keeping Mike Norvell from going to, I believe it was Notre Dame, by paying him well, right? And this is a coaching staff that is actually ripe to try to be sniped from other schools.
Yeah.
Right. Your Brian Wards, your Marcus, Arizona. Mike Luke is already talking about Marcus Arroyo going to the Wildcats next year.
He wants him so bad.
It's 6 weeks into the season, 7 weeks into the season with a bye, and you're talking about Marcus Arroyo joining your team, right? This is a staff that people are going to be taking a good long look at. I was happy when Sean Iguana was head coach, and I think that he can be a head football coach in college football. The thing is, though, why ASU is successful and why they're successful around Kenny Dillingham is because he built a staff that truly cares about the community, right? And he built a staff that thinks the same way that he does. The real telling thing that Kenny said in that clip was, I trust when somebody tells me they're going to do something and how they're going to do it because I know that when I say these things, I mean it. And so he surrounds himself with people that also mean it. And that's why you see the little details. That's why you see your running back room be so good. Right. And obviously Cam's a huge part of that, but how does that get schemed up? How do you find the best way to utilize Cam Skattebo? How do you get him in his prime form? Sean Aguano. That's how you get him in his prime form. Right? Like there are coaches and names that are not mentioned on a day-to-day basis that are the reason why this machine works.
Yeah.
But the reason why a lot of them are here is because of Kenny. And that's why Kenny is usually the first name that gets mentioned.
You're keeping Kenny. Marcus is going to be a tough keep, I think.
Yeah. I think B Ward.
I think
Cord,
Brian
tough.
Ward's going to be a tough keep too. But you gotta really try. If you're the administration, you really have to try and keep those guys. I mean, even if you got him for another year, seeing what this team has already done through 6 games, just having that level of consistency moving forward. And the other half of that, right, is the players, is what Kenny talked about. Guys like a Sam Leavitt, a Jordyn Tyson, Keyshawn Elliott, Cyrus Fiaseu, Keith Abney. These are all guys that have eligibility left, will be back next season in college football. And you have to make sure that they are well taken care of. Otherwise, the nature of the beast in college football here in 2024 is if you're not taking care of them, somebody else will.
Yep.
So you just got to make sure that you have your bases covered.
Do you have any more faith, though, because of Graham and this new kind of era of Sun Devil athletics? I don't think you're going to be able to keep everybody, because I also think that a really good testament to your coaching staff is, A, if you produce other good head coaches, but B, if you're able to promote from within. Yeah, as well. I mean, you even saw like Kenny's ability to replace a coach, like when you lose Rashad Samples. You just go and decide to get Hines Ward.
Let me go get a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah. Let me just go get Hines Ward, right? Casual.
Nothing crazy.
But, so I don't not have faith that they're going to be able to allocate resources and time and energy to replace anybody. However, I do think that you're going to be able to retain for longer than usual, simply because I think ASU athletics is ready to spend. I think Graham, I think Crow, I think the onset and now seeing the success and the excitement around it, I think they understand that they have to send.
I'm tired of being number one in innovation. I want to be number one in something else.
Football?
Something else.
On the way?
Give me something. I don't even need to be number one.
Number
right
one
now.
in NIL spending?
Just give me something. Be number one in the conference. Give me number one in the Big 12. That's what I want. I don't care about innovation at this point. We've done it.
We've been innovating.
Spend your money elsewhere.
You know what's not innovative anymore?
Being number one in innovation.
Innovation. Yeah.
Come on. You know what is? Like running a flea flicker on 4th and 1. That's something that Marcus and Kenny would probably do.
No, throwing deep on 3rd and short.
Give me it. Give me
that's innovative.
All of it. Okay. Look, before we get out of here, we do have one more clip from Kenny Dillingham because, again, everybody has been talking nationally about the Sun Devils. Cam Skattebo, rightfully so. Kenny Dillingham, his post-game press conference, took over college football, I think, over the weekend. And Kenny was asked just how you don't get caught up in necessarily all of those things because in reality, it's just a flash in the pan.
Yeah, you definitely feel it, and it's awesome. That's part of why you want to play Thursday and Friday games. You just hope the opposing team doesn't have a bye before you do it. But you do hope to play those games because it puts you on a national stage, and there shouldn't be any competitive. Normally, there's not a competitive advantage. You both play early. So normally it's even advantage, and you get a national stage to do that. But, I mean, it's I don't know the exact saying, but you fall way faster than you climb. So all this great, cool, look how cool we are, and all these cool tweets. Fumble the ball once, Scat, see what happens. Like, us lose a game, Kenny, see what happens. Like, that's the nature of the world that we're in, is it's all what have you done for me lately. People are looking at coaches who have had success over tens of years. Oh, look at the mistakes they're making. It's the nature of the beast, right? And you got to enjoy those moments. And it's great for the fan base. It's great for recruiting. But you individually as a person got to realize, like, this is a flash in the pan. And you could wake up in 5 days and the exact opposite will be said about you. So you better not put your name in the Twitter search handle, because if you build that habit, you're going to be in trouble.
I don't think anybody is more well equipped to be in the situation that Kenny Dillingham is in right now than Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah.
Not just from a coaching perspective, but from like just an overall life perspective. As B said, keep him level-headed.
There's nobody that you'd rather have coach Arizona State Sun Devils right now than that guy right there, Kenny Dillingham. And I don't think there's anyone you'd rather have in the administration at the top of the athletic department than Graham Rossini. And I can guarantee you there's nobody you'd rather have at running back than Cam Skattebo. And if you're a Sun Devil fan, you have those guys here. And there's still a lot of football to be played. Of course, Arizona State on the road taking on Cincinnati this Saturday, 9 a.m. kickoff, local here, Arizona time. We're going to spend the rest of the week getting into that matchup, hearing from the Cincinnati Bearcats coaching staff, and really how these two teams match up. But that is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devil Show. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your Sun Devils. Again, your Arizona State Sun Devils are 5-1, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the Jedi here at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You could follow Captain Redbeard himself at K Coop Sports. Guys, stick around. Make sure you tune in to the PHNX Sun Show.
There we go.
Live at 3 o'clock. Go give Erik some love and the rest of that PHNX Suns team, because it is going to be one heck of a season for those guys as well. We here at PHNX Sports appreciate everybody watching live and, of course, listening on audio. And as always, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.